Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome. We're reading 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5, text 30. Sri Prahlad is speaking. Sri Paraduvacha Matirna Krishne Parata Svatova Mito Papadyeta Grihavatanam Atanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram Puna Punascharvita Charvanana. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj replied, because of the uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress toward hellish conditions, and repeatedly chew that which has already been chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Uncontrolled senses make one too addicted to materialistic way of life and brings one to a hellish condition. In this verse, the words Matirna Krishna refer to devotional service rendered to Krishna. So-called politicians, erudite scholars, and philosophers who read Bhagavad Gita try to twist some meaning from it to suit their material purpose. But their misunderstandings of Krishna will not yield them any profit. So the devotees don't do this. So-called politicians, erudite scholars, and philosophers. But the devotee can understand Bhagavad Gita or any book about Krishna properly and will not try to gain some material profit. Because such politicians, philosophers, and scholars are interested in using Bhagavad Gita as a vehicle for adjusting things materially, for them, constant thought of Krishna or Krishna consciousness is impossible. Matirna Krishna. So thinking of Krishna always, or being Krishna conscious, means one will become free from all miseries of material existence. Whatever you remember at the time of death, that's where you will go. So if you remember Krishna, you will go to Krishna, the spiritual world, where it is Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. We'll have the existence like that. But if you want to adjust things materially, then this is not possible. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 1855, Bhaktya Mama Bijanati, only through devotional service can one understand Krishna as he is. The so-called politicians and scholars think of Krishna as fictitious. The politician says that his Krishna is different from the Krishna depicted in Bhagavad Gita. Or even though he accepts Krishna and Ram as the supreme, he thinks of Ram and Krishna as impersonal, because he has no idea of service to Krishna. If God is impersonal, then you can't have a relationship, a loving relationship. Love means service. Love is not just a feeling. Love means what are you gonna do if you love someone? You're gonna serve them. So if you think that God is not a person, then you can't serve him. Thus, his only business is puna punas charvita charvinanam, chewing the chewed again and again. The aim of such politicians and academic scholars is to enjoy this material world with their bodily senses. We have to enjoy life. We can't just live without enjoyment. So, if God is impersonal, you can't serve him, then what will you do for enjoyment? What will your activities be? Chewing the chewed, material existence, doing the same thing again and again, trying to enjoy the senses of the body. Srila Prabhupada explains elsewhere how the animals, their sex life is the same as the human sex life. It's not different. We think it's different. But the enjoyment obtained is the same. It's the same thing. So, we have traveled through all 8,400,000 species of life many times. And we've been trying to enjoy our material senses all those times. So, therefore, chewing the chewed again and again, trying to enjoy the senses. The aim of such politicians and academic scholars is to enjoy this material world with their bodily senses. And so is ours. We know this. We try to enjoy the material world through our senses. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that those who are grihavrata, whose only aim is to live comfortably within the body, in the material world, cannot understand Krishna. So grihavrata, vrata means vow. Yeah, taking a vow that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and enjoy the material senses. So we shouldn't be that attached to it. We should be open to some other solution to our life, to our life's problems. The two expressions, grihavata and charvita charvananam, indicate that a materialistic person tries to enjoy sense gratification in different bodily forms life after life, but is still unsatisfied. In the name of impersonalism, this ism or that ism, such persons always remain attached to the materialistic way of life as stated in Bhagavad Gita 244. Bhogaishvarya prasaktanam jaya parita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samado navidiyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Resolute determination is needed. It's not easy. It's like a fish swimming upstream, trying to be spiritually conscious in the material world requires some determination, because we're in this body, we're experiencing the urges of the senses. Yeah, so but to just try to enjoy the senses is counterproductive, because you cannot attain Krishna consciousness through that. You cannot attain satisfaction through that. Jivira Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. The eternal occupational duty of this, or the constitutional position of the soul, is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. So unless we are doing that, which we can do in this world, in this life, where we are at right now, we can do that. We can become a servant of Krishna and we can be satisfied. But it requires some determination to not constantly be just catering to the demands of the senses. Those who are attached to material enjoyment cannot be fixed in devotional service to the Lord. They cannot understand Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, or his instruction, Bhagavad Gita. Adanta Gobir Vishatam Tamishram. Their path actually leads toward hellish life. By contemplating the objects of the senses, attachment develops, and from attachment, not satisfaction, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, from detachment comes frustration, anger. Yeah, so that's a hellish condition of life. What to speak of going down to a lower species, like let's say an animal species, where you cannot understand God. That's also a hellish condition of life. As confirmed by Rishabhadev, Mahat Sevam Dvaram Ahur Vimukte, Srimad Bhagavatam 552. One must try to understand Krishna by serving a devotee. The Mahat refers to a devotee. Mahatma Nas Tumam Parita, Daivim Prakritim Ashrita, Bhajantya Nanya Manaso, Gyatva Bhutadim Avyayam. O son of Prita, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Bhagavad Gita 9:13. A Mahatma is one who is constantly engaged in devotional service 24 hours a day. As explained in the following verses, unless one adheres to such a great personality, one cannot understand Krishna. Hiranyakashipu wanted to know where Prahlad had gotten his Krishna consciousness, who had taught him. Prahlad sarcastically replied, "My dear father, persons like you never understand Krishna. One can understand Krishna only by serving a Mahat, a great soul. Those who try to adjust material conditions are said to be chewing the chewed. No one has been able to adjust material conditions, but life after life, generations after generations, people try and repeatedly fail, unless one is properly trained by a Mahatma, or unalloyed devotee of the Lord, there is no possibility of one's understanding Krishna and his devotional service. So we're trying again and again to adjust things materially. And Prahlad Maharaj says elsewhere as well, the material solution to material problem is more problematic than the original problem. So it's like we've been trying, as we mentioned, again and again, to adjust things materially and be satisfied here in this material world, but it will not work. This planet, another planet, this much money, more money, it's not going to actually satisfy the soul. Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. The eternal constitutional position of the soul is to be a servant of Krishna. Then we can be satisfied. Hare Krishna.